Today, I'm going to talk to you about one of the most profound books, which is called Jonathan Livingston Seagull. The actual book is only 22 pages, my dear masters. 22 pages is a very small book, but you never judge a book by the number of pages. Normally they say, never judge a book by the cover, but we have changed it in Crystal Children Corner. We say, never judge a book by the volume or the number of pages, because this big book, though may be a very small book, it is the most powerful book that a human being can get in their lifetime. So you lucky children, you're getting it today. Before we start about this book, my dear masters, we need to talk about the author. Who is the author of this book? Author of this book is Richard Bach, spelled as B-A-C-H. Richard Bach is the greatest spiritual master of all the times. He was born on June 23rd, 1936 in Oak Park, Illinois, and he's been a former USA fighter pilot. So he's no ordinary person. He's been a fighter pilot. He was an Air Force captain, and then he has been a writer, an aviator, a charter pilot, a flight instructor, an aviation mechanic. So his whole career has been in flying and in planes and in fighter planes and in all kind of flying things. So of course you can understand why he has written Jonathan Livingston Seagull, because it's about a bird flying. And Richard Bach, the great author, the great spiritual master, has a passion for flying. And that's how this book has come to us from this great master, Richard Bach. My dear masters, I have read so many books, thousands and thousands of books, but this book, I will rate it as number one. No matter how many years to come or how many years I have lived, I will request each child and each adult to read this book, because what we are going to learn today, you can't learn in much more profound manner in any book, my dear masters. This is one of my favorite books, which I read to my children when they were 6 and 8 years old. And the amount of influence that left on my children lasts forever. So each child today here on this Crystal Children platform, make this book your Bible, because you'll never go wrong. If you keep this book in your mind, you will never falter in your life. This will be like a guide to you. So Jonathan Livingston Seagull. Seagull birds, you don't find it in every country. Seagull bird is a species of bird that's found mostly in New Zealand and Australia kind of countries. In Australia, we find them all the time. Last week, I went to the beach and the seagull was just there on the beach. And you know what? I took a couple of pictures so that I could share it here on the screen, but the lighting wasn't good enough. We were facing the sun. So my dear friends, I'm sorry I couldn't share the picture, but while I was on the beach, I was thinking about you because there were so many seagulls around me. Anyway, so seagulls in particular, it's always good to know what we are talking about. This particular bird, which is called seagull, it's quite a lazy kind of a species. You know why I called it lazy kind of species? Because they don't want to do much hard work, masters. These seagulls, they don't want to fly too high. They don't want to fly too low. You know, flying high or flying low, it takes a bit of maneuvering. It takes a bit of effort. You think flying low, what's the big deal? No, masters. If you want to fly parallel to the water, it takes a lot of maneuvering. Or if you want to fly high in the sky, it takes a lot of effort. But these seagulls, they are lazy number one. In Telugu, we call Somaripotu Satram. People who understand Telugu, they would know. So they are number one lazy. Why lazy? Because they think life is all about just, go eat something, finish your day, happily sleep. That's all life is about. Why do we have to work anything more than what is required? So what the seagulls do, they just sit there on the beach waiting for any small boats to come closer to the beach. Why? Because they don't want to fly too deep into the water, because that's too much effort. I'm too lazy. I can't be bothered flying. So what they do is they wait for the boats to come closer. And then when the boat is very close, they think, all right, I can manage that. They quickly go sit on the boat. And then whatever is available around the boat, a few fish, they'll quickly eat it. And then they quickly fly back to the shore. So least amount of work, they don't want to do anything more than that. Or some boats, when they come to the coast, then there are some bits and pieces of food left over on the boat. They will just hop onto the boat, eat as much as they want, and then they come out, and that's their life. They will not do anything more than that. In some countries, like in New Zealand and more closer to the poles, it gets very cold during winter. These birds won't even bother coming out when it's cold, because who's going to bother in such a cold weather for looking for the fish and food? So they will happily sleep. So what do they normally do? When the weather is good, they just eat as much as they can, grow their fat, and when comes winter, they try not to bother themselves. So that kind of a lazy species we are talking about. That was the fun part of it. Lazy is one bit, but the other bit is that is how seagulls have always lived. That is how their thinking has always been, that life is nothing but just go do a bit of effort, get a few fish back to the ground, and that finishes the life. So today, Richard Bach, the ever greatest writer, has picked such a great species for us so that he could teach us the biggest lesson of our life, masters. So this book tells us the story of a amazing seagull whose name is Jonathan Livingston Seagull, a seagull who is bored with these daily squabbles over food, like just going, getting some food, coming back, because he's seized by a passion for the flight. So what he does, he pushes himself to the boundaries and he learns everything he can about flying, which no normal seagull would do. So come on, masters, come and join with me on this amazing journey of Jonathan Livingston Seagull book. As I take you through the book, I can't read the whole book for you, my dear masters, in the next 45 minutes. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to take you through the main parts of this book. And as we go through this book's masters, one of the key things I want you to know is, why did Saroja madam pick this book? So I'm going to tell you what are the parallels between Jonathan Seagull and our lives. Why do we have to pick this book as a curriculum for Crystal Children Corner? Because this book is an example of how a normal, mediocre human being lives in their life. And Jonathan Living Seagull is a book which shows you you can go beyond your bounds, beyond your thinking, and find your true nature. So that's what we're going to talk about today, my dear masters. So it was morning and the sun was sparkling gold across the ripples of a gentle sea. A mile from shore, a fishing boat chummed the water, and the word for breakfast flock flashed through the air, till a crowd of 1,000 seagulls came to dodge and fight for bits of food. It was another busy day beginning. But way off alone, out by himself, beyond boat and shore, Jonathan Livingston Seagull was practicing. What was he practicing, my dear friends? While all the other seagulls were fighting for food, this Jonathan Livingston Seagull, a very young bird, was practicing how to fly 100 feet in the sky, though he had never seen any seagull flying that high. But in his mind, he had this passion for flying, my dear masters. Most gulls don't bother to learn more than the simplest facts of life. All they do is how to get from shore to food and back again. For most gulls, it's not flying that matters, but eating. But for this gull, though it was not eating that mattered, what mattered, my dear masters, was flying. More than anything else, more than even the food, the one passion that kept him enveloping all the time was, how can I do better? How can I fly better? Because Jonathan Livingston Seagull loved to fly. Now, he was working hard day and night. He was never interested in food. And his parents did not understand what was wrong with Jonathan. They could see everyone running to the ship. You know, they're all flying to the little boats, getting their piece of fish and coming back. But they never understood why Jonathan was not even interested in food. Why was he always trying to, try different flights, try different maneuvers of how to fly high? So, every mother is very worried about their child. So was Jonathan's mother. So what did she say? Mother asked, why, Jonathan? Why? Why is it so hard to be like the rest of the flock? John was his small name. His mother said, why can't you leave low-lying? You can leave the low-lying because pelicans, guys, what is pelicans? Pelicans and albatrosses are the birds that fly very low in the water. They'll be really flying parallel to the sea. And this Jonathan was trying all kinds of flying. He wanted to fly low, he wanted to fly high, and he wanted to break the limits of the sky. But his mother thought, no, no seagull has done this in the past. Why, Jonathan, why do you have to do it? Leave that high flying business and low flying business to other birds. Why don't you eat, my son? Look at you, your bone and feathers. That is the love of the mother speaking. But what did Jonathan say, my dear masters? I don't mind being bone and feathers, mom. I just want to know what I can do in the air and what I can't. That's all. I just want to know my true nature. So this is a bird who's saying, well, you think girls can't fly, mom, but that's for you. That is your truth. But I personally want to see what can I do. My dear children, does it remind you of anything? Every time when I will be going forward in this book, I will be telling you why I have picked this book. This is the life of the story of us human beings, masters. We look around, we see what others are doing, and we just try to copy and think that's enough. If that person is just trying that much, if I do that much, that is enough. I do not have to try something more. But here we are talking about a Jonathan bird who looked around, looked at his seagull family and friends and thought, well, you may be happy just being lazy. You may be happy just flying to the boat, get a fish or two, and just spend the whole day lazing around in the beach. But I want to know why I can't fly like other birds. I want to know what's my real limit. And hence, when you are really running after your passion, my dear masters, food and sleep become secondary. And that's what we are seeing in our little bird, Jonathan. So Jonathan's father got very upset. He's not listening to his mother. So this normally happens in our family. When we don't listen to our mom, the dad steps in. So what did the dad say? Dad said, see here, Jonathan, winter isn't far away. Boats will be few. What happens when winter comes? Not many boats come to the beach. So father said, very soon the winter will be gone. There won't be many boats. And all the fish that are swimming on the surface will go deep. And once it goes deep, you cannot get them. So if you must study or if you must practice, then you must practice how to get food, not the flying business. And he said, Jonathan, it's all right. You're trying to learn how to fly. But remember, flying won't give you food. Don't you forget that the reason you fly is to eat. So what is his father trying to tell Jonathan? That no matter whatever you do, remember one thing, that whatever we seagull do is just to get some food, that's all. So why are you wasting your time, my dear masters? This is all we humanity has been taught. From the time we are born, go to school, finish schooling, get good marks, get a job, get married, do everything. Everything is fine. But don't think that alone is life. There is much more to life. And Jonathan Seagull today will tell us that you can do what you're doing, but don't think that alone is life. Go after your passion. Try to break the belief system that you are living in. Try to go after your passion. That is all this book is about, my dear masters. So when dad said so many things, Jonathan nodded obediently. And for the next few days, he tried to behave like all other girls. Why? Because his dad scolded him. So he thought, okay, fine, my dad is not happy, so I will do exactly what my dad wants. But he tried. He tried to be a normal seagull. He also tried to fight and screech, for what? To run after the fishing boat, to get the scraps of fish and bread. That's all seagulls do. They go kick, 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 and they'll be fighting with each other just for a few scraps of bread and just for some fish. But you know what, my dear masters? His passion was so strong that these crumbs of fish and bread could not dampen his spirits. That he couldn't make that work. And you know what he felt? It's also pointless. With great difficulty, he got a small anchovy. Anchovy is a kind of fish. And then he thought, what am I doing with this little fish? Is this all I did? Fighting for this piece? And then he just left it for an old girl who was chasing Jonathan for that small anchovy. And he thought, I don't want this. All this time I've wasted for fighting with each other for that little piece. I could be spending all this time learning to fly in the great sky. There is so much to learn. And it was not long before Jonathan Gull was off by himself again, out at sea, hungry, happy, learning. Masters, very important. Hungry, happy, learning. When you are happy, masters, when you are learning what you want, when you are going after what you want, no hunger, no sleep can come in your way. And Jonathan is telling us that, masters, we never have to just be an average life and say, this is life. Go after your passion. That's every step Jonathan is telling us. So what was Jonathan's passion? Jonathan's passion was speed. He had never seen any gull flying with speed, because all the gulls did was just go lamely to the boat and come back lamely to the beach. But what Jonathan wanted to do was fly with speed. And that's what he was practicing. And in a week's practice, he learned so much more about speed than any fastest gull alive. So he had not seen any gull that could even try as much as he could. And every time he tried, wasn't easy. Time after time it happened. You know, he was very careful. He was working at the very peak of his ability. He was never giving up any time. But every time he wanted to fly high, he would go to a point and then he would lose control, because he did not have any teacher. There was nobody to teach him. But that did not deter him. That did not disappoint him. People like Jonathan, who have self-determination, they don't wait for some teacher to come and teach them how to do. Where could he find a teacher in a group like Seagull who are lazy? So time again, if he has lost it, he tried again, he tried again. He climbed to 1,000 feet, he climbed to 2,000. But when he was coming to dive back, he would lose his control, because the kind of feathers he had, he did not know how to use his wings so that from that height he could come fast diving down. He tried and tried. 10 times he tried, and all 10 times, as he passed through 70 miles per hour, he just burst into a mass of feathers. That means he lost his control, friends. And from 2,000 feet, he tried again. This time, rolling into his dive, beak straight down. So he's got his beak straight down. See how much he's trying. He's got his wings full out. And for a minute, he was quite stable. You know, he passed 50 miles per hour. For a seagull, 50 miles per hour speed is not heard, masters. Jonathan Seagull, that little bird, he's trying his level best. But as he was coming down, so as he comes down, he has to pull his wings, isn't it? They have to pull their wings inside. The instant he began his pull out, the instant he changed the angles of his wings, he snapped into that same mess that he was doing before. And by the time he was halfway through, he exploded in midair. That means he just collapsed in the cold, brick hard sea. And that really disappointed him, because there was nobody to encourage him around, masters. He was trying all from inside to push himself. But time and again, when he was not successful, came one time when he was very disappointed. And when he came to that point, he looked around. It was well after dark, and he floated in midnight on the surface of the ocean. His wings were ragged bars of lead. That means they were so heavy. Why they were heavy? Because of practicing. This little bird with no food, with no sleep, has been practicing from 2,000 feet. He never found that he was tired till that point. When did he feel tired? Only when he gave up and disappointment came with. So when he landed on the water, and when he was disappointed that I have done so many times, I'm not able to do it, that is when he could feel that his body was feeling like a big load. The weight of failure, this is what is called weight of failure, masters. It was not weight of his body. This little bird tried, and had no energy to try. And at that point of time, he wished that the weight could be just enough to take him inside the water. That means he thought, I can't do what I want. I wish I was dead. How many times, masters, we think, we try hard in life, and just when we think we are about to do it and we fail, What does a normal human being does? I will end my life. And Jonathan Seagull is also a normal seagull, though he tried better than others, but the same feelings. So he thought, if my weight was good enough to drag me in the water, all my disasters, all my disappointments would end there as he sank low in the water. So he gave up, masters. He didn't even want to live because he doesn't want to live like a normal seagull, fighting for food, sleeping, and one day dead. He doesn't want that life. He wanted something more from the life, and he tried. But when the disappointment came over him, he just let go. So he started sinking in the water. As he sank low in the water, suddenly a strange voice sounded within him. And what did the strange voice say? I'm a seagull. I'm only a seagull. I'm so limited by my nature. If I was meant to learn more about flying, then I would have, great brains. What kind of brains? My brain would have been programmed for running, for flying high. I don't have that programming done in my brain. Yes, so my dad was right. I'm not meant to fly. My dear masters, we all go through this sometime or the other in our life. Many times we want to do great things. People won't encourage us. In spite of that, we have that inner calling that keeps on saying, try, try, try. We try a couple of times. And there are so many of us that give up half the way and they think, that's it, I'm done. Either we end our life sometimes or we just want to live a mediocre life like the rest of the society. So Jonathan is going through the same moment that most of our human beings go through, my dear masters. So don't think this is a story of a girl. This is my story. This is your story. This is each one of our stories, my dear masters. So Jonathan says, if I was meant to fly at great speed, I wouldn't be like this, like a gull, body like this. What I would be like? I would have a falcon's short wings. Falcons, they have got very swift short wings. And if I had those short wings, I could live on mice instead of fish. You know what falcon do? They don't have to look for fish on the water. They can just go on the land, pick a mice here or two. But then he thought, I'm not a falcon. Now Jonathan is trying to find out all these drawbacks and negativity. This is what happens, masters, when we have lost our hope, when we are disappointed, we try to pick all the negative things out of us. And that's what Jonathan is saying. He thought, well, I'm not like a falcon. I'm stupid. My father was right. I must fly home to the flock and I should remain like a seagull. So he almost thought, that's all. I'm done the way I am. I'm done with everything. I'm a seagull like every other seagull, and I will fly just like one. So he climbed painfully. So he got out of the water somehow, flapped his wings, and thought, okay, I'm going back to the shore, and I will live like a normal seagull. He felt quite good. Once he decided, I'm not going after the passion, I'll just live like all my friends. Actually, he felt better because he thought, oh my God, now I don't have to feel bad. I don't have any ties about my passion. I don't have to start being different. My dear friends, being different is very difficult. Everyone wants to be just like the society we are in because doing something different, being different is difficult, masters. And that is what Jonathan was doing. For that, you need courage. If you want to live like everyone else, there is no courage required, masters. And then Jonathan thought, well, I'm like an ordinary seagull. I'll just live like them. And I'll stop thinking about this flying, this stupid failures, and all this effort. And it was pretty just to stop thinking. And he thought, okay, it's dark. So he was flying back to the shore. And shore, there were some lights. So he was looking at the lights and he started flying towards the beach. And then it was all dark. So he looked around and said, oh my God, this is quite dark. And suddenly that dark word, it just sunk in his mind. And he thought, seagulls, they don't fly in the dark. If seagull is meant to fly in the dark, then we should have eyes like an owl because only owl can see in the dark. So there in the night, 100 feet in the air, Jonathan Livingston Seagull, he just slowly going towards the beach, he thought, that's it. All my resolution, all my determination, there it goes. And he was feeling very hopeless. But suddenly, the word that he was thinking about started buzzing in his mind. What did he say before? He said, if I was a falcon, I would have short wings. That idea just came in him. Short wings. Aha! So that is the secret. A falcon has short wings, and that's why they can fly so high and they can just dive wherever they want. And he said, that's the answer. What a fool I've been. All I need is a tiny little wing, and all I need is to fold most of my wings and just fly on the tips, like having short wings. And masters, that is Jonathan Seagull. He did not give up. The moment that idea flashed within him, short wings, there he took off. He climbed 2,000 feet above the Black Sea. And then he knew how to try like a falcon. So what he did, masters, to make his wings short, because seagulls have big flat wings. So what he did was he just pulled his wings in, just keeping the small tips, and then he maneuvered like a falcon, and it started working. So all the promises he has done, that I'm an ordinary gull, I'm giving up all my passion, I don't want to fly, everything vanished, masters, because the passion for flying again ignited. His vows of a moment were forgotten, and he thought, that's okay. Such promises are only for ordinary gulls. I'm not an ordinary gull. And by sunup, Jonathan Gull was practicing again from 5,000 feet. You know, he went up to 5,000 feet because now he knew the trick. How can he be like a falcon? He just has to pull his wing and keep the tips open. And from 5,000 feet, he could see the boats like specks in the water. No gull had really flown that high. And the breakfast flock, what is the breakfast flock? It is his own group of birds that are waiting for breakfast. He could see them like dust motes circling. And now, from that 4,000, 5,000 feet, he wanted to come all the way down. So he was flying now straight down at 214 miles per hour. My dear friends, 214 miles per hour is a lot of speed for a seagull. And he's already reaching his critical terminal velocity. So he had never done this before. How wonderful it is when you do something different, when you do something out of your boundary. This is the feeling you get. He swallowed. He knew that if he mucked around with his wings, if he opened the wings little bit more, he will be blown into million shreds of a seagull. So he had to be careful. He had to keep his wings all tight. And by then, the speed was his power. And with the speed, it was joy. And with the speed came the pure beauty, because for a bird, flying is beauty, my dear masters. And just as he was coming very close to the ground, 1,000 feet, now he has to learn how to land. But he hadn't practiced very much, master. So what will happen? If he comes at that speed and hits the ground, it will be like a meteor, done, and he'll die. He couldn't stop. He didn't know what to do. He knew if he collided, that means it's instant death. And at that time, the breakfast flock, all his friends were gathered around for breakfast. So what happens? He comes straight into the breakfast flock and is about to hit them. But he suddenly puts his beak up and then he goes up again. Hooray! See, last minute it came to him through his nature that he has to put his beak up and go up again. And he started enjoying his velocity. Velocity means speed. Masters, people who have done skydiving, they will know when from the small helicopters, when they just push you out and you're just flying with gravity, it is amazing, masters. So people who have done those gliding, people who have done the para jumping, the parachute jumping, they will understand what all this is about. But for us, for most of us who haven't done, you can all listen through the voice of Jonathan. He's enjoying the terminal velocity. So he did so many maneuvers. And now he wanted to show off, because now he wanted all his flocks to see. So when Jonathan Seagull joined the flock on the beach, it was full night and he was very tired. Of course, he would be tired. He's done so much work. But not for him. He was delighted and he just rolled over because he was so happy. And then he thought, tomorrow morning, when they will see me, they'll be so happy because they've all seen me doing so many breakthroughs. And he was wild with joy. And he thought, there is so much more to living, my dear little masters. Mark these words, what Jonathan said. How much more there is to living. Living does not mean hand to mouth, masters. We have not come onto this plane just to eat food, to do job. That is not. There is more to life. And Jonathan, in his seagull life, he learned that there was more to life. Instead of drab slogging, going back and forth the fishing boat, there is a reason to life. So Jonathan was like so happy. And next morning, he thought, I will go with great pride and stand with my people. And they are all going to say, yes, Jonathan, you are the great. So what happens next day, masters? Jonathan Livingston Seagull, he's there. And the elder, that is the captain of the team, says, okay, Jonathan, come and stand in the center for shame. You know what? He thought they were going to say, hey, Jonathan, you have done a great job. Instead, the captain said, you put us to shame, Jonathan. Can you stand in the middle? And Jonathan said, why? I thought you're going to be very proud of me. I have done something that a normal seagull cannot do. But those seagulls did not understand, because for them, living was just eating and sleeping. How would they understand that there is so much happiness in flying? And they didn't want to listen to Jonathan. So the elder said, no, that was sheer irresponsibility. The way you were flying, you were putting all the birds into risk. So nobody came and patted Jonathan's back. That is how life is sometimes, masters. When we step our boundaries, when we step our limitations, there is no guarantee that everyone around you will understand. But this will understand, masters. And that's what Jonathan Livingston Hart said. You have done something which you share with others, they will enjoy, teach them. But the others didn't enjoy. So what did they do? They said, you are an outcast. We are pushing you out of our community. So go away. Poor Jonathan. He felt so bad. He wanted to teach everybody. But instead, what happened? Jonathan Seagull was pushed out of his own community. So Jonathan Seagull spent the rest of his days alone. And he was practicing all by himself in the far cliffs. He was not unhappy because he was alone. You know what he was unhappy about? Because all the other girls, they refused to understand the beauty in flying, the beauty that waited. They all believed that they were, helpless birds. He wanted them to know you're not helpless. We can fly and touch the sky. There is so much more. You don't have to live on the scrapes of that fish. We can fly high. We can go deep in the water. But they refused to open their eyes. So that's what Jonathan was feeling bad about. But Jonathan on his own practiced more and more and more and more, and got just better and better and better and better all by himself. What he had once hoped for the flock, he just did it by himself. He learned how to fly, and he was not unhappy because he was alone. And then a long time, his life went on. And he grew old like everyone else, but he was beautifully flying and he's trying. And then one day he could see there were two girls on two sides of him. Both were golden in color. They were just glowing. And he was very surprised. They both were flying along with him. And if Jonathan went down, both the birds came down with him. And if Jonathan went high, 6,000 feet, both the birds would go very well. And they were beautiful birds. And they could just fly just very smoothly, even better than Jonathan. And Jonathan never understood. He thought, oh my God, I've never seen you before. Who are you? So Jonathan asked them, who are you? And then they said, Jonathan, we are from your flock. We are your brothers. We have come to take you into the higher worlds, to take you home. So he said, I don't have any home, because Jonathan knew that he was kicked out, isn't it? Jonathan was kicked out. So he said, no, I don't have a home. I don't even have a flock, because people have all pushed me out. So he said, I'm so old. Jonathan was old by now. And he said, I'm so old. I can't even fly properly. So how can I come, And they said, Jonathan, we are talking about your real home. Your school in this world is finished, Jonathan. It's time for you to move on to another world. There is another school for you waiting. And then Jonathan understood that his time on this plane had finished and he had to go into another world to learn so much more. So he said, all right, my dear friends, I'm ready to fly with them, fly with you. So along with those two star bright gulls, he started flying along with them. So, and the next minute, along with them, he came to a different world. He thought, is this heaven? But what is heaven, masters? Heaven is nothing but it's another dimension where you learn more things than you learn in this world. So there went Jonathan into another world where he had so much more to learn and there were no limitations. So he happily walked along with those two golden birds into this new world, masters. And this new world was amazing because there were so many girls like him who were not lazy. They were all flying like him at terminal velocity, 250 miles per hour, 2 miles, high speeds. And then they were all happily flying and talking very happily to each other. And Jonathan said, oh my God, here I can try my flying practice more. Slowly, Jonathan could see that, all his memories of his previous life on earth were fading away. And he was quite happy being in this new world and practicing everything that he could. And here he had a new instructor. Instructor means teacher, because whatever he had learned on the earth, now in this new school, he could learn many more times. So he needed a master. And this master's name was Sullivan. So the new master Sullivan said, welcome to this world, Jonathan. You can fly as much as you want. And then Jonathan said, I can't see many other birds. He said, where is everybody, Sullivan? I can't see anybody. Why there are not many more seagulls like how I used to see on earth? From where I came from, it was full of seagulls. I can't see any of them. Where are they? And Sullivan said, yes, I know, Jonathan. From where you came, there are thousands and thousands of gulls. But this is not earth. This is another world. And you have to remember, Jonathan, that you are one in a million bird. Most of us come here very slowly. We have gone from one world into another that was almost exactly like it, forgetting where we had come from. We never cared where we were headed. We were just living for eating. Do you have any idea how many lives we must have gone through before we got even the first idea that there is more life than just eating or fighting? 1,000 lives, Jonathan, 10,000 lives we spent before we came to know that there is more to this life, more than just eating. And then, Jonathan, another 100 lives until we began to learn that there is such a thing as perfection. And another 100 lives to get the idea that our purpose for living is to find that perfection and show it forth. The same rule holds for us now. Of course, we choose our next world through what we learn in this one. So whatever we learn on earth, wherever we live, we progress from there into the next world. And Sullivan said, Jonathan, you are not an ordinary bird, because what we took 10,000 lives to learn and come to this world, you have learned so much at one time that you didn't have to go through 1,000 lives to reach this one. So our Jonathan has always been a special bird. So that's what his guru, his master is telling, that you are not an ordinary bird, Jonathan. For us to come to this world took us 10,000 lives. But for you, it did not take 10,000 lives, because you always questioned. You always wanted to find out more than what you saw. And that is why you are here in this world, my dear masters, my dear little masters. Very important. Each of us don't have to spend 10,000 lives to know that this life is not about just eating, earning. Life is much more than that. We are on Crystal Children. Crystal Children platform is no ordinary school, my dear masters. What normal people take 10,000 lives, we don't need 10,000 lives, masters. One life is enough to understand what is our true nature and what is that divinity that exists within us. We have a whole class coming for you to understand how to know your divinity, because each one of us have to understand we are no ordinary human beings. We are strong inside. We are divine. And that's what Jonathan Seagull found out just in one lifetime. We don't have to waste 10,000 lifetimes, my dear little masters. So such a great knowledge, wisdom, Sullivan gave to Jonathan in that world. And one day, when Jonathan was just learning to fly more, he saw an elder gull. So he went to him. That gull never spoke much to anybody. So he said, "What is your name?" And that gull said, "I am the elder gull here. People call me Chang." And he said, "Okay, so this is heaven, Chang?" And then he said, "What is heaven? Heaven is nothing but perfection. Whatever we think is perfect, that's what we see in heaven." So he said to Jonathan, "Jonathan, you love flying, isn't it? And that's why you're seeing this perfect world of flying. Heaven is not a place. It is not a time. Heaven is being perfect. For you, being perfect means flying, and that's why you are here." And Jonathan said, "Yes, Chang, I love to fly." And then Chang says to Jonathan, "You will begin to touch heaven, Jonathan, in the moment you touch perfect speed." And what is perfect speed? Chang tells Jonathan, perfect speed does not mean flying 1,000 miles an hour, 2,000 miles. This is all a number. Perfection is when you go beyond number. That is what we will understand in Crystal Children platform, my dear masters. With every class, we will try to make you understand what is that perfection we are all craving for, which doesn't come in numbers, my dear masters. And that's what Chang is trying to explain. And then as Chang was talking, suddenly Chang vanished and Jonathan couldn't see him next to him. And when Jonathan looked, Chang was on the other side of the water. And he did not understand, how did Chang, one moment he was here, how could Chang go there? And Chang said, "It is fun." And then Jonathan said, "How did you do that? How does it feel like, 1 second you were there, other second you..." And Chang said a very profound thing, my dear masters. He said, "You can go to any place, any time that you wish to go. I have gone everywhere and anywhere that I can think of." And John is thinking, "Oh my God, this is a great flying. That means you can be here 1 second, you can be there other second." So Jonathan said, "Chang, can you please teach me?" And he said, "Of course, if you wish to, then I will." And then Chang taught Jonathan the most important wisdom in life. And he said, to fly as fast as thought. Because if Chang could be here in 1 second and it could go the next second on the other side, that means he's traveling at the speed of the thought. Nothing can go more than speed of the thought, my dear masters. So Chang is teaching Jonathan about speed of the thought. My dear masters, this is just not lesson for Jonathan. This is for you and me too. We all have the potential to travel at the speed of thought. The only problem is there is nobody to teach us and we have never tried. So listen to this story carefully, because we all have this potential to fly as fast as thought to anywhere. To do that, you must begin by knowing that you have already arrived. So what is the trick? Chang said, you have to believe that you are already on the other side. Now Jonathan is saying, how can I believe I'm on the other side when I'm here? And Chang said, it is not about practice. It is about the belief in your thought. Belief in your thought power. My dear masters, nobody will talk about thought power, masters. I have attended spiritual classes so many times. I have personally seen nobody talks in detail about thought power. That is the main reason why I have brought this book to you. Most important thing is believe in your thought power. There is nothing more powerful and strong than your thought power. That is what Chang is trying to explain to Jonathan. And Jonathan kept trying, but it was difficult. It was becoming very difficult. Then one day when Jonathan was trying, he could not go there. He closed his eyes and then he tried to understand And he thought, why am I trying so hard? I am perfect the way I am. I am unlimited. And suddenly he heard Chang's voice. Very good. He opened his eyes. He was not on the same coast. He was in a different beach. You know, but what kind of beach that was? That world had two suns. It was all green everywhere. And Chang started laughing. He said, you used your thought power well, but you imagined a planet with two suns. Can't you imagine much better? So Chang started laughing. Next time you start using your thought power, think of a nice planet with only one sun, with nice greenery. This is all a joke, masters, but the bottom line is Jonathan could use his thought power, and this is what is called, masters, visualization. This visualization words will keep coming again and again in the spiritual realm. Nothing is impossible through visualization, and that is what Chang is teaching him, saying that use your thought power to do whatever you want. You don't have to work hard, masters. Our humanity has taught us to reach somewhere, you have to work hard, you train hard. No, masters. It starts with believing in yourself. It starts with believing that your thought power can do magic. You have to believe that you have everything in you. And through this simple story, Richard Bach has given us amazing, amazing, amazing messages. So, and then all the birds are surprised. How come? They all thought only Chang can do this. Be here 1 second, use thought power and go. But now Jonathan could do that. So everyone came to know Jonathan is a special bird because he believes in himself. He does not believe about limitations that, oh, seagulls can only do this much. He doesn't believe in that crap. He wants to break all the bounds. He wants to break all the limits. And then he was practicing, and the day came when Chang had to go. He had to move on to another world. So before he went, he was looking at all the other disciples or all the other students in this new world, and he spoke to all of them, and he said to them, never stop learning and practicing, and always try to understand, that whatever is invisible doesn't mean it doesn't exist. All the invisible belief that you have, you can manifest, you can make that real if you believe. And as he spoke, his feathers went brighter and brighter, and he became invisible. He went to another world. So before going, he said to Jonathan, Jonathan, keep working on love. Because, masters, different lessons come at different times in our world. Because now that Jonathan had broken his beliefs, he had tried to go after his passion, he had started using his thought power to move forward. The next step for Jonathan was to work on forgiveness and love. Masters, for us all, it comes a stage when we all have to learn that to go past these experiences, we should all learn how to forgive others, how to show that love. Many people we don't like in this world, but when you reach to a certain level, you understand why they are behaving the way they are behaving, masters. So always remember, for Jonathan also, that time came. So now Jonathan said, okay, this message that, so 1 second, masters, I'm feeling a bit warm because of Jonathan. He's given me a lot of warmth. It's very cold actually in Melbourne, but I'm feeling warmth already. Okay, so just give me 1 second. Yeah, that's better. Right. So Jonathan thought, okay, so what has he taught me about love? Why did Chang tell me about love and forgiveness? And then he understood, masters. You know what he understood? He thought, I have moved on to this world, and now he has become a teacher here. He's also helping with Sullivan to teach these birds. These birds are great already. All the birds in this world all know how to fly. But my poor friends back in the world, they don't even know that there is something called flying. They're still happy with the little things they're doing. So my kindness lesson, my forgiveness, my love starts back there. So he says to Sullivan, good day. I have to take leave because I have left my group back who still believe that they are helpless seagulls. I have to go back and help them. And Sullivan says, are you crazy? They pushed you out of the community. Why would you want to go out? You were an outcast. Why do you want to go back? He says, though I was an outcast, but that does not matter. Now is the time when I forgive them. Now is the time I help them, because if he doesn't go back, who is there to bring them out of that belief that they are those helpless birds? Look at Jonathan. After all that he has been treated so bad by his flock, he never thought twice. And he said, there is no way. And he said, if Chang, you know, his guru Chang, who was there, who was teaching him how to go on the other side of the river, he said, if he wasn't there to teach him, how could he have learned to use his thought power? So with that, he said, Sullivan, I have to go back. Your students are doing great, but I will go and help my clan back from where I came. And with that, Jonathan says goodbye and he goes back and he says, we will meet again. And he flies back and comes back to where? Comes back to Earth, again to the same place from where he had left once. And when he comes there, my dear masters, I have to take just one small time out. I know, masters, there are a lot of Moonstone children who are here in this group or in the other groups. This story is going to go another 15 minutes. So masters who are getting late for Moonstone, I can understand if you want to quit and go to Moonstone, but this is going to take definitely 10 to 15 minutes, okay? All right. So when he comes down, he sees another bird like him called Fletcher. He's also been outcasted from the group like how Jonathan was. And he's so upset. He's saying, why can't people understand? They all should be able to fly. I don't want to be sitting there on the beach, you know, running after the fish. And Jonathan laughs and he thinks, there go. There's another bird like me who wants to fly high. See, when I wanted to fly high, there was nobody to teach me, but I will teach Fletcher. So Jonathan says, all right. So Jonathan appears in front of him. Now Jonathan has come from another world, isn't it? So Fletcher can't see him. So Jonathan makes himself seen and he says, all right, that's not the way how to fly. And suddenly Fletcher looks around and says, oh, where did this bird come from? And he says, who are you? He says, doesn't matter. I'm here to teach you what you want to learn. And then, as you can imagine, my dear masters, Jonathan is teaching them how to fly, how to go in different direction. And it's beautiful from there on. And every day, you know, one bird after another, like that, 6 birds who have become outcast from the community come and join Jonathan's school. And they're all flying beautifully. And Jonathan teaches them everything that he wanted to learn when he was a young bird once upon a time. So, and then after that, every bird who comes, they say to Jonathan, oh, Jonathan, I want to fly so high, but I can't do this. But then Jonathan says, you can. See, that's what we need sometimes, masters. Sometimes we want to do things, but we lose faith in ourselves. And that is when all we need is one bird like Jonathan next to us, one person like Jonathan who says, you can do it. You're not dumb. You're not stupid. Just give it a little more try and you can do it. Many times, masters, that little bit of push that comes to us is plenty. And Jonathan Seagull gave all that to the 6 other students. And they all became experts. And each one of them completely learned how to fly beautifully like Jonathan. And then Jonathan said, it's time for us to go back to our community. And they said, are you stupid? Why would we want to go to the community? He said, you have to forgive. You have to forgive the whole community that has outcast you. They don't know what they are missing because they have never seen the fun of flying. So let's go back and help them out. And with that, Jonathan flies back all the way to his community. And along comes with him all the 6 students. And when they go join the community, the other community people, they don't like him because they have outcasted them. So everyone turns their head. Nobody looks at them. But Jonathan doesn't get worried. He says to all the 6 birds, he says, all right, come on. you can show me, he says to one of his students, he said, okay, Fletcher, come on, show me how to go a 6,000 feet high. And then the Fletcher goes all the way, and all the other birds in the flock are without, without their head seeing, they're all watching carefully how this bird is flying. Then he says to other student, okay, can you dive low and show me? Jonathan pretends as if nobody is there, just he and his students. But those 8,000 birds, they're all watching them with so much intention. There are little birds there who also want to fly like how Jonathan and his students are doing, but they are scared. Why? Because their parents will scold them, their leader will scold them, because all these birds are outcast. So every day they are watching Jonathan in the night, how he's teaching his students. So slowly, after a month, one bird slowly comes out of the big flock. His name is Terence. And he comes to Jonathan and he says, can you please teach me too? Because everyone wants to learn. Now Jonathan is showing everybody, look at my students, how nicely. Then next day, another bird comes. He's got a bit of limp in his leg and he says, Jonathan, I also want to fly, but I've got problem with my leg. Can I fly? And he said, you believe you can fly? Yes, you can fly. Come along. Come along, I'll teach you how to fly. And then he says to the gull, his name is Maynard. He says, Maynard, you have the freedom to be yourself. You can be what you think you are right now and here, and nothing can stand in your way. And that is the law of the great gull. Like we say, that is the law of the God. Like that, gulls say that is the law of the great gull. Great gull means their God. Yeah, that's the law of the great gull. And he says, you believe me that I can fly? He says, yes, Kurt, try. And Kurt tries. He's never opened up his wings. And once he opens his wings, he's there in the air. And after that, you can imagine what happens in the flock. All the birds coming one after another, Charles Roll and Judy Lee, name them. They're all after Jonathan. And slowly, his crowd grew larger and larger and larger and larger. And then people say, oh my God, look at Jonathan. He must be the son of the God. They don't say God, they say great gull. Jonathan must be son of the great gull. If not, he's ahead of his time. Like that, people are saying. Why? Because the lazy guys, they don't want to practice. Only the hardworking want to practice, the one they believe. The other people say, oh, Jonathan and others can fly because they are God. That's what we do, isn't it? We think God means they are great. We can't be God because we don't want to be great. This is how we think, isn't it, friends? Like that, gulls also think the same way. They say, oh, because he's the son of the great gull, that's why he's going to do. Jonathan says, I am not son of any great gull. We are trying. We want to go after our passion. So he keeps telling everybody, you all can do. Don't think we are the son of the great gull. That means the God. We are just normal human beings. And they say, okay, but we are also normal seagulls. Why can't we fly? Then Jonathan says, you have to try. You have to go after passion. You have to believe yourself. And then after a bit, see, many little birds and young birds, they're all coming and learning from Jonathan. But there are always people who don't want to learn. They just sit back and comment on everybody. And they are the ones who are already commenting on Jonathan and his group, saying, oh, they have special powers. Either they are God or they are witch. Witch who do magics, saying, oh, Jonathan must, if he's not a God, then he's a witch. Like that, they're spreading rumors. Now what happens is, after a week, Fletcher, he's teaching some young birds how to fly. And then he has just done a high fly and is diving down completely. And just then he sees a small bird is just flying across to reach his mother. If Fletcher keeps continuing like that, then he's sure that he's going to collide with that little bird. So to save the bird, Fletcher, who is coming at terminal velocity, moves a little bit. What happens? I told you already. At that speed, when you're going down, if you just open up even a little bit of wing, you're gone. So what happens? Because to save the little bird, the little maneuver that Fletcher does goes and hits against a granite rock. And with that, he's passed out and he's entered into another world. because he can't feel anything. His consciousness has transcended. So, my dear masters, it will be very hard for you to understand. But as we keep going forward in our classes, everything that we are mentioning, we will tell you in more detail what is consciousness, what is transcending. But for today's story, you can say that he almost left this world and he moved into another world. And he thought, I'm dead. I have left Earth because I can't feel any pain. He knew his body would have been in pieces, or at least he would be dead. And just when he's thinking like that, he can hear Jonathan's voice. And what does that voice say? He says, Fletcher, you know, I know you're a very good flying master, but you haven't yet mastered how to fly through a rock. That means there is more to learn. People can even fly through the rock. You must be wondering, masters, what is flying through the rock? You know, there are so many people who practice, who connect to their divine nature. You know, they can be anywhere they want. Nothing is in their way, mountains, rivers, nothing. But for that, we have to believe in ourselves. We have to get in touch with our divinity. And that's what Jonathan was saying to Fletcher. You haven't yet practiced how to go through rocks. And that's why you crashed in the rock. And so he says, oh my God, Jonathan, that is you. What are you doing here? He said, yeah, I'm the son of the great gull. He started joking. That's what they call me. And he said, Fletch, you can't pass away from the world. You still have to teach lot of gulls. And with that words, Fletcher comes back into his consciousness. He comes back into this world. And he looks around. Who is standing next to him? Jonathan is standing next to him. And there are so many birds, you know, those 8,000 birds in their flock, they're all watching because they all know Fletcher dead. Because the moment they see Fletcher moving to save the little bird, Fletcher has gone and hit the rock and they all know he is dead. But how come he's alive? And they all start shouting, oh my God, he's living. He that was dead is alive again. And you know what they say? We know why he is alive again, because he was touched by the wing of the great gull. But then suddenly someone says, oh, but he said he's not great gull. Okay, if he's not the son of the great gull, then what else he can be? A witch. That means devil. That is what we do, isn't it, masters? When we don't understand others' greatness, we try to bring them down. And that's what these gulls are doing, because they can't understand Jonathan's passion for teaching, for helping the community. They say, okay, then he's a witch. So what do they do for devil? They want to kill the devil. So all the birds are coming towards Jonathan and Fletcher to kill them. Just at that time, Jonathan says, would you feel better, Fletcher, if we left now? And then Fletcher says, of course, I will feel good if we go. And the next second, they are 3 miles away. How did that happen, masters? It happened because, do you remember what Chang had taught Jonathan? That with your thought power, you can be wherever you want. And that's what Jonathan did along with whom? Along with Fletcher. He managed to take him along with the thought to another place. So all the birds that were coming to kill them, they couldn't find anyone. And then Jonathan says, I don't want to go back to the flock because they are very mean to me. But Jonathan says, no, Fletcher, my time is over on this earth, but your time begins. I forgave everybody, came back to help you all. Like that, you have to forgive all that community and help them. There could be so many Fletchers like you. You still have to continue teaching and do not be upset. And masters, actually, this story finishes at this point saying, Jonathan says, bye-bye, I'm going away, and making Fletcher the leader for the next generation so that Fletcher can teach all those birds who want to be different. But you know what, masters? The story finishes here. So if Moonstone children wants to go, they can go. But I'm going to continue the story a little bit more for the amethyst people, because you know what happened, masters? Richard Bach, he wrote 3 chapters and he released the book. And then what happened? Richard Bach, who was a pilot, he met through a big accident. He was flying his fighter plane or his small plane, and he met with an accident with some electric lines and stuff like that. It was a major accident. He was in coma for many months. And when he came out of it, masters, he had near-death experience. And after that, he wrote part 4 and he sent it to the publisher. So many of you won't find part 4 that I'm telling you now because the book doesn't contain it. So for the sake of you all, I'm going to tell you part 4. It's going to take 5 more minutes, but I would rather finish this part 4. So part 4 focuses on the period several hundred years after Jonathan and his students have left the flock. And what happens when great people go away? With them, teachings are forgotten. We make them gods. Okay, what happens? Ramana Maharshi has moved on. So we will put pictures of Ramana Maharshi and we will start doing bhajan, isn't it? Vivekananda goes away, Ramakrishna passes away, we put big pictures and doing every night bhajan. That's what Seagull started doing. They had nice statues for Jonathan, nice statues for Fletcher, and they were all practicing strange rituals and demonstration of respect, like how we do bow our head, do bhajan. They also started doing bhajans for these people. But there were some birds, they didn't like it. They thought, why are we not trying to fly like these people in the statue? Eventually, one bird named Anthony Gull, he questioned, why are we not doing what those people did? 100, 500 years back, there were birds like Fletcher, Jonathan, who did something different. I also want to do. I don't want to sit here doing bhajan. He said, life is pointless and I don't want to live meaningless life. I would better not exist. I don't want to live. I want to live for joy. And he said, that's okay. Either I live or I'll keep flying till I die. He's so angry, he wants to fly. And he keeps on flying. And now he wants to dive exactly like how Jonathan and Fletcher, they were all trying, remember, going up and down. And this poor little bird, Anthony, nobody to teach him. But through his self-determination, through his passion to learn, he's going up and he's coming down. And he thought, well, I don't know how to dive. I'm about to die. That's what everyone feels first time. I'm about to die. And at a speed and an altitude which would kill him, he's coming down. And suddenly, Anthony just catches a sight. Oh, who is that? There is a beautiful golden seagull flying next to him. And that golden seagull says, I'm sorry if I surprised you. And that voice, master, was very, very friendly. And he says, wow, whose voice is that so friendly? And that voice says, Anthony, I had you watching all the time. I was watching you. I was just playing, so I didn't say anything. Otherwise, you will feel surprised and you will hit in me. And Anthony can't believe. Oh my God, who is this bird flying so well? It can't be true. What was that? He said. And then Jonathan showed him some funny divings and he said, this is fun flying. And he dived and pulled up and did all those things that he used to do. And he said, how do you like it? And you know what Anthony said? It is beautiful. It is beautiful. But I haven't seen you before in the flock. Who are you? And who are you? And guess what, my dear masters? Who was that? He said, you can call me John. So masters, 500 years later, John has come back to teach that little bird Anthony because he had a passion for flying. And masters, with that, our Jonathan Seagull story comes to an end. It is an amazing story, masters. I know I'm eating up in your question answers time, but question answers you can ask all your lives, masters. But the story that is one of the most profound stories, it teaches us many things. It teaches us that don't be wrapped with belief systems. If society is saying you can't do it, you can't do it, you listen to them, but you don't have to follow your heart. There is no limitation for your thought form. This body is a thought form. Why I'm saying? Because you can manifest anything you want. For reality, you can create any reality, masters, because the reality comes from your thought forms. Keep practicing till you reach your passion. And that is what Jonathan showed us by saying, unlimited seagull. See, Jonathan had self-determination. He did not need any master to teach him. There are many people in this world who have believed in themselves. They didn't have any masters or teachers. They practiced. They went after their passion, masters. And they became gurus for others. So, you know what this book about? This book is about all those who want to fly, who want to go after their passion. And for those people who have that determination, Jonathan always comes back, because Jonathan lives in you, masters. Jonathan lives in me. Jonathan lives in everyone who wants to go after the true divine nature. And when you reach your divine nature, masters, we all have to remember that we have that love and forgiveness which we should practice for everybody. When we have the ability to forgive, that's what Jonathan did. He was not angry with his crowd, oh, they outcasted me, I'm not going to go back and teach them. He didn't do that. He went back and he taught them. So forgiveness and love is very important, and that is important if you want to progress, masters. So Jonathan understands that the spirit cannot be really free without the ability to forgive. If you want to move forward in lives, the lesson which you cannot forget is forgive. And the ability to forgive, it's very important, masters. And always remember, help is always available who has the determination. Like that little bird Anthony, who in the 4th chapter, he thought, why should I keep praying to these statues? I also want to become like one. And when he went out, his master was ready in the form of Jonathan, waiting for him. There are great masters, my dear friends, like Richard Bach, so many people, and they all come and give us information. But sometimes we can't understand them. We call them God or we call them devil, because we don't know, we don't understand. So we have to remember this, masters. Very, very, very important. Jonathan Seagull discovered that boredom and fear and anger are the reasons why the girl's life is so short. And if that is gone from his thought, he lived a long life indeed. And that's exactly what happens with human beings, masters. When you're only living from mouth to hand, getting up in the morning, doing the daily things, not even questioning why you are doing what you are doing, then life becomes boredom. Life becomes meaningless, masters. It becomes meaningless, and those people don't live longer, because people who have no passion for life will just live a mediocre life and will just die a mediocre life. We have not come onto this plane to live a mediocre life, masters. That is not the reason why you and me are here. We are here to do amazing things. And for doing amazing things, sometimes you have to step out, following your heart, following your passion. Many of you may not know your passion now. Don't have to know everything in one day. As you move on in your life, your heart will tell you what you are after. And your heart will never go wrong, masters. If you are going on the right path, your heart will always guide you to the right direction. So honestly, masters, if it was my normal wisdom sharing session, I would not have finished this class in this time. There is so much depth meaning. I would have gone on and on for another 2 hours. But because you young masters have got your time limit, I struggled to bring this story back into this time. So thank you very much, masters, for giving me the opportunity to tell this amazing, amazing story. My heart sings when I tell you this story, because there is no greater book than Jonathan Livingston Seagull. I would request each one of you to read slowly, line by line. And if you have any question on any line, put on the WhatsApp and say, Madam, I did not understand this line. I will be more than happy to explain each one of you any line that you're stuck with. Because the person who understands Jonathan Livingston Seagull, you have understood life. There is nothing more to read. There is nothing more to understand, because this great spiritual master, Richard Bach, has put the whole essence of life into 22 pages and given us as a simple book. So you can see how much passion I have for this book. I read this book 20 years ago, masters. I never forgot it. It is such a great book. And I really hope whatever I shared with you today will be with you for time to come in your life. Whenever you're losing direction, whenever you feel life is so boring, whenever you feel disappointed in life, whenever you feel, is that what life is all about? Remember, there is a Jonathan who is waiting for you. All you have to do is just ask for help. Okay. Thank you, my dear masters.
Thank you. Thank you, madam, for this great session.
Purna, for a change today,
Yes,
I will not do any asanas or meditation.
okay.
I'm happy to take questions for maybe 10 to 15 minutes because I'm aware of the time. If anyone has questions, please put up your hand and Purna sir will take the questions. Masters, I apologize. I'm not taking asanas and meditation because the flow of the book will go if I break now with asanas or meditation, okay? And I don't want that flow to lose. If you have no questions, definitely I'll go back to asanas and meditation. But otherwise, I'm more than happy to take questions. So my first priority will be to Amethyst Group 1 because it is their class. I know there are questions on the other forums, but my first responsibility is to answer here. But I'm sure Gangadhar sir can note down the questions which we won't answer, but we can answer it back later. So Purna sir, you can see if anyone has any questions in this group.
Yes, ma'am. We have one. Radha has raised a hand. Just I'll unmute her.
Ma'am.
Yes, Radha.
Can you start your video, Radha?
Ma'am, I have 1 minute, ma'am. Well, is thought power stronger than cosmic energy, or are they both powerful, ma'am?
Yeah, very good question. You know, when we are saying thought power, thought uses cosmic energy. So let me go back one step. It's an amazing question, Radha. You know, do you understand raw material? Have you heard the word raw material? I'll tell you. Suppose you want to make something out of iron. Okay, I want to make a cupboard made of iron. Then for that, I need iron material, isn't it? I need iron. So sometimes in the company, they come in the form of steel rods, the big iron rods. And then from that rod, you can melt it and then you can make whatever shape you want. You understand what I'm saying? So if you want to make anything out of iron, you need raw material. Raw material means you need raw iron. For anything, even for cloth, if I want to wear a cotton dress, for that, what is my raw material? What would be the raw material, Radha?
Well, it's cotton fiber.
Yes, exactly. Very good, Amma. So you need raw cotton for clothes to be made, isn't it? So for anything to be made, you need raw. You have raised a very good question. So all masters, listen this carefully. Amazing question from Radha. In this world, in this universe, the raw material is cosmic energy. So everything is based on cosmic energy. So energy lies everywhere. But just because energy lies everywhere, it's of no use to you. You have to bring that energy into a form that you can use. Example, if I give you just cotton balls, can you wear it? Can you wrap cotton balls around your body and say, I'm comfortable? No. You have to make it into cotton threads, and from that, you have to make it into a dress. Okay, Radha. Similarly, cosmic energy is everywhere, but most of us are not able to use it properly. So, cosmic energy is your raw material. With the thought power, you are using cosmic energy to focus it on something. You have raised a very important part of ascension. Normally I don't touch this topic till I talk about ascension, but because you're already ascended master, I'm telling you this in a short form. All this cosmic energy through thought form, we focus it. We focus it into what we want to manifest. And that is why the thought form becomes so powerful. It is taking cosmic energy, turning it into a form that we want. For example, you want chocolates. I'm just giving you example. It's only an example, right? You want chocolate. You can take cosmic energy, put it in your thought form into a chocolate visualization. Chocolate will be there. It takes practice. So what is the raw material for all this?
Well, it is cosmic energy. It's the raw material.
Wonderful. Give a big hand to Radha. Radha, amazing question. So now you know the relationship between thought power and amazing question, Amma. Because you know what? Okay, I will give you even the next answer also. This is cheating. I should not do this cheating, but I'm giving you this cheating also. So Just 1 second. In this cheating, what happens is, you know what's the problem with this world, Radha? We don't know how to take the raw material and focus. There is so much raw material in the world. That means there is so much cotton in the world. But we don't know how to make cotton dress out of that. That is the example. That means what is missing? We do not know how to focus through thought power. There is so much cosmic energy. There is no lack of cosmic energy in this world. What is lacking is focus. Focus means to put it in a thought form and have that thought form every day. You know what our problem is, Radha? One day you want yellow shirt. The other day you don't want yellow shirt. Third day you want green. Fourth day you don't want green. So what is happening? One thought is negating other thought. If you can have the same thought, focus it again and again, again and again, again, you can get anything you want, Radha, in this world. So the main problem of humanity is we don't know how to focus through thought. This is a great topic in Ascension, Amma. The problem is of the current humanity is focusing. We don't know how to focus raw material into a finished product. And today you asked an amazing question. Really big claps to you, Radha. Thank you very much for asking this question.
We don't have any more questions, ma'am. Nobody had raised the hand.
No problem, sir.
We got Durga Ditya Master. He want to ask just now.
Hello, ma'am.
Yeah, actually, hello, Durga. Actually, that makes me feel good. Looks like they really understood the story that I told. So, and they really got connected because I can see their faces and it gives me a pleasure. Like, looks like they've really enjoyed the story. That, guys, give me a thumbs up if you enjoyed the story or if you liked it or not.
Yes, ma'am,
Yeah.
I really enjoyed the story. And
Right.
ma'am, it has really raised a question within me that God has sent me onto earth with some reason behind it. Ma'am, is this book available online also? I'm really interested to read it.
Yes, Durga, it is available online. It is available online. So you can get
Yes,
it
ma'am.
online. And if you have, other friends in spiritual circles or your parents, you just go on internet and just put this name and it is available. Each one of you should read this book, Durga. It's an amazing book, so simply written. And he's a great spiritual master, Richard Bach. I have so much respect for him. And once you finish this book, if you really like reading books, then Illusion is his next book, amazing book. He wrote this book after he had accident, after he had near-death experience. He meets his guide. It's amazing books. I mean, I can't say anything more about Richard Bach. I have a lot of regards for this master. He has changed my life and I know what it means to me. Yeah. Thank you, Durga.
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, actually, ma'am, I wanted to ask you one thing. Like sometimes it happens, I think of something, like I want to eat an ice cream. And it happens that while my father is coming home from his office, he gets it. It has happened many times. So, ma'am, I didn't convey it to him, but still that happens. So, ma'am, is that a coincidence or is there some science behind it?
Nothing is coincidence in this world, as you would have heard it many times. When we don't understand, we call miracles. Yeah. But when we start understanding, we call it science. It can be physical science, social science, or it can be spiritual science. So spiritual science is something that people do not understand yet completely. But what you have explained is power of intention. If you really want to know about power of intention, there is a book called Power of Intention by Wayne Dyer, another great author that I love. He passed away last year in August, but wonderful books. So if you really like reading, Durga, I would recommend you to read The Power of Intention by Wayne Dyer. You will know why things are happening the way you are seeing. You have a strong power of intention. And maybe that link is with your father, so it's happening, right? But the more you learn about power of intention, you'll start knowing how to make it work with everyone. It's not that difficult. You just have to spend some time and have some faith in yourself. Yeah.
Okay. Sure, ma'am. Thank you very much. I really loved the class today.
That was wonderful. So masters, I'm just going to go quickly on gallery view. I just want to see you all once. because I can't see, I'm spotlighted. Who all are there? Very nice to see you all, and thank you for giving me this opportunity today to share with you this amazing story. And as Purna sir has said, we don't have any questions, any further questions. So I hope I have answered whoever has raised their hands. But my dear friends, if you get this book, don't miss to read it and enjoy. I'm going to switch on to my other Zoom section, and if there's any question there, I'm going to pick the question. If you guys want to stay here, listen to the other question, more than welcome. But if you have got other important works, you know, feel free to leave. This is the time. But I will keep both the Zoom sessions open so that already Meher is raising hand. We have a lot of questions on the other Zoom, but you can hear as we go along, right? So you can stay here if you want, otherwise you can leave. But thank you very much, Amethyst Zone 1. And for sure, in 2 weeks' time, I'm coming back to you with another topic. So I'll be seeing you soon. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Masters. Thank you.
Purna, sir,
Yes,
it is
ma'am.
up to you. You want to keep the session open or close? I'm okay either way.
Yes.
I'm still on. If children want to be here, I have no problem. I can close this session myself. Because I'm moving on to the other session, sir. They have got some questions and these people can
Sure.
also hear. Yep, thank
Sure.
you. Gangadhar, sir, we are happy to take questions from this side. Okay, I just wanted to read a few things that we have on Facebook. Krishna Pasari says, very beautiful and inspiring story and well explained. Thank you very much, sir. It was really a pleasure having you all on the Facebook. And this is my little effort to spread the great message from this Jonathan Livingston Seagull. So thank you very much who are watching this wisdom sharing session on Facebook. Thank you. Yes, sir.
Hi, Saroja madam.
Hello, Ma.
Hi. Shivansh, do you want to say something to her?
Hello, I like the story.
Did you like the story? Oh my God. How old are you?
You're 4.
You're 4. And was it too much? Like, did you understand everything that I said, or a little bit was not that clear? Was it?
I understand everything.
Oh my God, you are a great master. You must be that Jonathan, isn't it? That's why you understand everything. I'm so happy that you understood.
Yes.
Thank you so much. But remember, being Jonathan comes with a lot of responsibility. If someone doesn't understand, please explain them, right? If someone says, what is this story? Will you tell them for me, please?
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I'm so happy to have you on this session.
Madam, I have a question about the thought power, right? So you were telling that thought is really powerful. So for a person who has like anxiety disorder or something where there's a lot of negative thinking, right? So how does thought power work in such cases?
Yeah. So you are Meher, are you? What's your name?
No, I'm Priyanka.
Priyanka, sorry. I got Meher there. Yeah, I can see Meher still. Sorry, Meher. I thought she was Meher anyway. Yeah, I can see you now. So Priyanka, first of all, what I wanted to let you know is I do a lot of counseling. So when people are going through tough times, they do get in touch with me and I do counseling. I'm not a medical doctor. So I'm not the one who gives them, okay, take this medication for your anxiety, take this for your depression. No, that is not my business. My business is I'm a spiritual counselor. So what does that mean? That means I work with their thoughts. I work with their beliefs. I work with their understanding of the world. So everything depends on how you see the world. Your worldview, that's what it is called. If your worldview is gray, if you feel that everyone around exists to cheat you, to make the most of you, to use you and abuse you, if that is your way of thinking, then that will impact on the kind of thoughts you have. So your thoughts depend on your worldview. Now, what does worldview depend on, you would say? Worldview depends on your determination. You can change your worldview. How does worldview change? Worldview changes with the knowledge that we gain. And where do we get the knowledge from? From people around us, from books, from sessions. So every day we are learning so much, Priyanka. If we are in the right company, if we are reading the right books, if we are getting in touch with the right people, slowly that impacts our worldview. With the change in our worldview, our thoughts change. So in my counseling session, the example I'm giving you of counseling session is, many times I only have one counseling session. And then they write me a message saying, Madam, my world has changed. I'm perfectly okay. I don't need another counseling session. Now, someone who is watching all this, they'll say, crap. You know, someone who was about to give up their life, how can she or he changed in one 15-minute session? It does because I question them. The one negative thought they have, I ask them, what is it based on? And every thought, because we are talking about negative, I'm just focusing on that. Every negative thought has got a worldview, the way they see the world. And if I work on that worldview, I have changed his or her whole life. So that is what the thoughts are. Thoughts are not the beginning. Thoughts are a consequence of how we think the world is around. So if someone wants to change their thinking, if they think that they have negative thinking and they have to change it to positive, the easiest way is check around. What kind of feeling you have about the world you live in? Do you think it's all gray? Do you think that you have no say? Do you think that you are victimized? This will all help you. Why? Because spiritually, this is where your third chakra is being affected. Sorry if I'm going too spiritually. This is a spiritual class, so I have to tell you theory as well as practical. Theory, I have told you where it starts, your worldview. Now, from spiritual perspective, if you understand chakras, Priyanka, I don't know how much of information you have on chakras, but if you're talking about chakras, then chakras, the third chakra, not the root chakra, not the second chakra, but this chakra is our third chakra, which we call Manipura Chakra. Okay, solar plexus. That is where the basic energy is happening. So that is the main thing that we need to do, is work on that third chakra, Manipuraka Chakra. And that is the scientific thing behind it. When the energy around the third chakra changes, our worldview changes automatically. But you can't see third chakra, so how can you change it? The other way is change the worldview. How will you change the worldview? You can always say, oh, madam, how can I change the worldview? Everyone is always deceiving me. By only the thought of forgiveness. That's what Jonathan is telling us. Everyone outcasted him. What should be his worldview? That there is a hopeless world in this world. He didn't say that. He understood why their behavior was, because they haven't evolved. And he thought, I understand life better. I can forgive them. I can share that love. If each one of us can forgive our past, we can come back and change our present. So in the shortest form, I can give you this answer, Priyanka.
Okay, sounds good. Yeah. Thank you so much, madam.
Thank you. Did that answer your question?
Yes, it did.
Thank you.
Saroja madam, I like the story.
I'm so glad you like the story. I'm so happy. I'm really so happy. This is my favorite story too. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, leave my pen.
Thank you, Abdul sir. Thanks for writing here. Good explanation. I'm glad, you could stay with us on the Facebook. Thank you. Is that Meher? Meher is raising her hand. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Ma'am, my doubt is in the Telugu session also we got the same story.
Yes.
In the Telugu session, they told that we should send our moral for this story. Should we all now also send the moral?
Kirti, you don't have to send the moral, because I do believe that you have understood everything. You don't have to send the moral. But if you want to, feel free. I mean, you're more than welcome. I would love to listen if you want to send the moral, but you don't have to. Okay?
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello. I really liked the story, and I think it had a really good moral. And I think you're a really great storyteller.
Oh, that's a compliment. That's what my friends say, Meher, that I'm a good storyteller. Thank you.
So my question is, can you please suggest some ways for us to channelize our thoughts and our energy to accomplish the goals that we want to accomplish? And can you also please suggest some books, like the power of intention to think like positively?
Yes, good. Are you in any of the classes?
Yes.
Which one?
I'm in Amethyst.
English Zone 2?
Yes.
Okay. What I would do is, Meher, I will take a class somewhere sooner or later about this thought power, which is called law of attraction. So I'll try to cover as much as I can, because if you have that kind of interest, I think it would be very nice to talk about law of attraction and how does it affect the thought power and what we attract in our life. All right. I think you have muted yourself. Gangadhar sir, can you help her unmute, or just ask her to unmute?
Oh, okay. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you now. Yes. So I think it's not a bad idea, Meher. Let's have a session on law of attraction, right? Because that's what tells us how we can use our thought power in a proper way to reach our goals, right?
Okay, so how can we have like a one-on-one session with you?
There won't be any one-on-one session. It'll all be in a group.
Like a counseling.
Oh, okay. For counseling, go on my website, which is www.beyondyourmind.org. Have you written down? I'm going to repeat again. www.beyondyourmind.org. That's my website. And on the home page, if you go down, there will be a heading called registration. It'll be registration. The third box is counseling. So if you click the link in counseling, you can register yourself for counseling. And one of my team members will schedule a time for you.
Okay, thank you. I see it.
You're welcome.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mayor. It was really nice talking to you.
Thank you. It was really nice talking to you.
Thanks.
Hello, Srividya Master, are you able to? Madam, you're not able to hear.
Okay.
Srividya.
Okay. Srividya, looks like Gangadhar sir is not able to hear you, neither can I. So we don't know what's wrong with your audio.
I can't hear the voice of Madam.
Oh, she can't hear. Can you hear me with Gangadhar sir?
Yes, yes, I can.
Okay.
She's unmuted only.
Okay. Okay. Sorry, madam, we can't hear you, so we don't know how to take your question. Anyone else?
That's it, madam.
Okay. So I think we can close the session, Gangadhar, then? Yeah, okay. I'll just go on the gallery view on this Zoom also. I haven't seen who else have joined. Just want to say thank you to all. So my dear masters on this Zoom as well, thank you very much. It was wonderful connecting with you all. This is a great book that I feel everyone should read. I did rush through the book because this is a classroom for amethyst and could not go any slower than this considering the time frame. But if anyone has any questions on this book, any line that they don't understand, you know, you feel free to drop a WhatsApp message, and someday we will do it much more in great detail, and hopefully we can go through more questions. But it's a simple book with profound messages. So thank you very much, masters, on both the Zooms and Amethyst class. And thank you, Gangadhar sir and Poorna sir, for helping me out on this 2 sessions. And all the masters on Facebook really mean a lot. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you.
And
Thank you,
Sridhar sir,
masters, for all that.
thank you for supporting Sridhar sir and all the teachers and masters who are there on Amethyst platform. Thank you all very,
it is
very
not
much.
helping, ma'am. Really, we're learning a lot of knowledge from you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Wonderful hearing
Thank you, masters.
all the messages.
We'll end the session, masters.
Yeah.
Madam,
Can
we
I
have one.
save you for 1 minute?
We have one doubt
Yeah,
from
yeah,
Nikita
yeah. Just one
Varsha.
second. Sorry, is there a question, Poorna?
Yes, ma'am. Nikita Varsha
Yeah.
want to ask.
Sure, go ahead. Meher, just 1 second. I know you have something to say, but I'll just finish. There's a question here. Yeah, Nikita, go.
Sorry, madam. My daughter doesn't have any question. I'm her parent. So
Right.
I just read this story before, madam. But the last part, whatever Anthony, I didn't know. So when I was just sitting with her and I was listening to the story, so I thought I just want to share this one. It's a beautiful story. We learn so many things from this, madam. So I'm very happy to learn a new chapter from you. So I just wanted to thank you. That's the reason I raised my hand. Thank you very much.
That's so sweet of you. Thank you very much. Thanks for the feedback. Actually, you're right. Not many people know about the 4th chapter because book contains only 3 chapters. The new, I think the new edition has 4 chapters, but I missed it in the book myself. I didn't know it existed.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you very much, ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Yes, Meher, was that you? Did you have a question here? Sorry, or did I miss something here?
Yeah, I think, I just wanted to ask about meditation. So when we were talking about channelizing
yes,
your energy, how does meditation help with that?
Meditation goes very well in line with that. Meditation, without even knowing too much theory, see, for the tendency in today's world is you want to know how things are working, only then I'm going to do. But meditation is a foolproof technique which has been tried by people time, and in the future same thing will happen, and they've found profound benefits. And one of the benefits, Meher, is if you have attended the meditation and its benefits classes, you would understand. Deepti madam had a beautiful picture, 10 benefits of meditation with a person sitting in between. One of the benefits is focus. And that's what I was saying. Focus is sharpening your thought form. So meditation does help in many things, and one of the benefits is this. So that is the reason we are requesting every master on Crystal Children Corner platform to meditate. Get into the habit of meditating. It's amazing. It helps you in many ways, and one of the ways is focusing your thoughts.
And in the pandemic, during this time with the pandemic, there's a lot of people are feeling a lot of emotions, and many people are finding themselves feeling negative emotions, or a lot are feeling bad. Do you have any tips for that, and how to help yourself feel better?
Yeah. People are, first of all, let's think why people are feeling that way. Anytime, Meher, when you have a question, just ask why till you get to the bottom of it, and go till a point where you can't find any answers, and then start working from there. It will always help you in your life. So first of all, before we start talking about how do we address that negativity in people during this pandemic time, let's understand what is happening with them, right? Why are they feeling negative? Even before we can address how to work on the negativity, let's talk about why they're feeling negative. The feeling of negativity is coming from the place where they're all used to certain lifestyle, and we're used to living in a certain fashion. And now this particular pandemic is calling for a change. What change is it? Everything that we were used to, that's not happening. So We have to go outside the box. And what was inside the box? Inside the box was whatever was happening all these days was inside the box. Now we are going outside the norm, which is called out of the box. Human being resist change. Doesn't matter what kind of change it is. Any change. If you have been eating roti dal for 20 years and suddenly on 21st year I start giving you chawal, you will resist, because your first thing would be, I've never eaten it, I don't know what will it cost. I'm just giving you an example because that's how human beings are. We are creatures of habit. We don't want to break the habit. That's the normal thing. We like to go by a routine. We like to go by a belief system. That's, to a certain extent, these things are okay. But we have worked this habitual box to the ultimate nth level, to our own degradation. So what is happening is, we are so used to this lifestyle that because of this pandemic, when we are all locked in our houses, we're not used to it. We are so used to going out, doing shopping, eating outside, working, schooling. All of a sudden, we are in a different zone, different lifestyle, and that is causing us uncertainty. You understand what is uncertainty, isn't it? Uncertainty means you have no idea what the next minute or the next day is going to be. That is why the negativity is coming from. We're all fearful. We're fearful because we cannot predict our future. Human beings want to predict their future to the nth level. That's how we like to kill things by thought. We want to think, plan. Whether it goes per plan or not, it doesn't matter. But in my mind, I want to totally work till I turn 99 plus, because I want to be sure that when I turn 99, how would be my day one? I want to be very sure how would be. I'm extrapolating it because that's how human beings are. We like to have a plan for everything. What we fail to understand is, no matter how much we plan, you can only plan to a certain extent. Why this story am I telling you? Because that is the symptom behind what is happening in this pandemic. We are all locked. We don't know what the future is. And we do not know how to live in the present. We have never lived in the present. We always like to live in the future. Tomorrow. We start our day by planning for tomorrow. We never think about now. Because now is already going. I don't care how it is. I will deal with it. I am more worried about tomorrow. But unfortunately, the story of this game is the whole life only lies in the present moment. But we want to plan for the future. And this pandemic has pushed us to sit there, do nothing, and face the present, which we're not used to. So we are becoming very restless. There is no negativity happening. It is restlessness. We don't know how to deal with ourselves. That is the problem. In the spiritual circles, no problem at all. You know something, Meher? I've been extremely busy since February. I have not even had time to properly talk to my family. My family means my husband and my children. They have to take appointment to sit with me. They have come to a point where they say, "Oh, Mom, when will you be free? We want to sit half an hour." Why? It's not me alone. All the teachers and masters on this platform, same story I know, because we have worked ourselves out of this box by elevating ourselves to the next level. We have made the most of this outside the box, or this restlessness zone. We have used this restlessness zone to prepare something new out of it, and we are cherishing. So what are we cherishing? We all were locked in the house. So we thought of other ways that we can help ourselves and others. So we opened Beyond Our Mind Foundation. We opened Crystal Children Corner. You know how many registration we got? 1,500. We have never ran a school. Look, I'm an engineer by profession, and there are so many engineers and doctors on this voluntary team. Nobody is a professional teacher, but here we are, almost a mega size university we have now. We run classes for parents, we run classes for children. So we didn't get scared. We thought, wow, this is a good opportunity for us to make use of this. So that's what we human beings need to do. Whatever is the situation, turn it for your advantage. There won't be any negativity. The problem is nobody is there to tell us. We need that one Jonathan who comes and says, this pandemic has happened for your good. You are locked in the home. Very nice. Think about all those things that you could not do before. Nobody tells us that. So if everyone starts thinking, there is no downside to this pandemic. I hope I made sense to you, Mayor.
Yeah, I think that was really, I think like that was really helpful. And I think like as a teenager and like at a time when there's like so much change in the lives of kids my age already, it can be difficult to deal with all this new change. Just especially because like I'm a teenager and a lot of changes are happening in my life already at this time.
Yeah. So start looking at each one at a time, Maher. Don't look at the whole thing as a big puzzle. Just take one thing out of it and say, what is that is causing you problem or that is causing you restless? Just work on that one thing. Honestly, when you go to the depth of it, Meher, there is nothing there. It is just your fear for nothing. That much I can assure you. But the problem is you should have the ability to open that knot and just take that one piece after one piece to address. And trust me, Meher, it's not difficult. That's what I keep doing in my counseling.
What about when we're there? I know that there's a lot of times when we're trying to focus on the future and what's going to happen later, and sometimes like I've been feeling like I should expect something bad to happen in the future. Like, what would be your advice for that?
First of all, I would like to understand, how long have you been meditating for, Meher?
Not very long.
Okay. Or before joining Crystal Children, have you ever meditated?
A little bit, not
okay.
really.
Okay.
Not that much.
So there is a whole thing that you need to understand. I won't go into that much detail. It's spiritual science because we all could be here for the next 2 hours. But if something makes you feel better, all I want to tell you, and this is not a story, this is a fact, this is a truth that I'm telling you, is we all come planning our life to the nth level and we come here. The problem is, after coming here, we don't remember what plan we have come here for. And that's what we are fearful of. But just remember one thing, Meher, nothing will go wrong with you. So stop feeling worried about your future. That question in you is more fear about the future. You do your best in the present moment. At this moment, you're talking to me, Meher. What best can you do? The best you can do is listen to me carefully and try to understand your question. How is it relating to my answer? That's the best we can do at the moment. That is all what we can do. While you're talking to me, don't extrapolate. Oh my God, what am I going to do tomorrow, day after? No. Tomorrow, day after will take care of itself. Everything has been planned. You have no control of it whatsoever. But I can't tell you just in one line because you won't understand. This whole lecture needs at least 2 hours for you to understand. But one thing, rest assured, you have come with a divine plan. Don't worry about what's going to happen tomorrow. Everything is already sorted, provided you give your best in the present moment. That is why the story is live in the present moment, give your best now, without worrying how is the outcome going to be, because you have no control on the outcome. Who has the control? Multiple factors. The primary factor is your divine plan with which you came. That is the primary thing that has impact on your outcome. So a short answer to your question is, don't worry, don't be fearful of your future. There is nothing you can do because everything is happening perfectly the way it was planned. The only problem is you don't know about the plan. Okay?
Okay. Yes, thank you so much. I think this was just really great and really inspiring. And just listening to this story helped me to see like so many things about life that I hadn't noticed before. And like, thank you so much for sharing this story with us.
Meher, actually, I should thank you because you had the tenacity to keep on asking questions. Many times we ask a question, we get an answer and we think, okay, that's enough. You really made me feel proud because you didn't stop there. You kept asking me more and more, which really made me feel that, yes, you have a thirst for something. And that something is where everyone starts. I was like you, Meher, when I started on this journey. If I would have just stopped there thinking, oh, well, I know as much as I know, I would not have made progress on this path to where I am. So, darling, keep doing what you're doing because that's the only way you will learn. And learning is evolution, and that's what we have come here for, to evolve. Thank you very much, Meher, for attending this session today.
Thank you so much.
Saroja madam, I am Nehal's mom. I was the one who was talking to you, Anita Chopra. Yes, thank you so much. So you know what? I want to tell you that one of my friends forwarded me your information to do this session. And Meher, on Sunday, she sleeps late. And I told her, I'm a physician. On Saturday, I work every Saturday. And during the COVID, it has been very stressful, you can imagine, for us. And I go to clinic, and from the clinic, I called her. I said, Meher, you get up and you attend this. She said, why should I get up, Mom? You don't let me sleep even on Saturday. I want to sleep. I said, no, Meher, one time you listen to me and you attend this. Then, beta, you do what you want. And that day, she attended your session, the first amethyst. And she told me, Mom, I was looking for this.
Oh.
Yeah, because I feel like I just had this feeling. I think it's something that I realized during the pandemic, but I just had this feeling that there has to be something more than just school and all the other things that we're used to doing in life. And I think I was looking for something like this, and I'm so glad I finally found it.
You know, Meher, if I have children like you in my classrooms, you won't be surprised. I'm going to just stretch the boundaries of these crystal children, because the class has just started. I'm very careful about the topics that I'm introducing, because I don't want to overwhelm any of you. I want to give you little by little. I have so much thirst in sharing everything that I know, only because I know it had improved my life. I want each one of your lives to be much better than what it is for me. And that is my only thirst about why I have opened this Crystal Children Corner. Something that I learned when I was 30. I want you to learn when you are 10, when you are 15, so that you don't have to go through the same traps that I have been through. That is the reason why this Crystal Children is here today. And the questions you have asked, you have proved that you guys can learn a lot more than what I was thinking. So thank you for proving me wrong.
Spiritual life, light in them. You are lighting a lamp, which is many lamps. One lamp is lighting so many lamps. I am so happy that Meher did this session. I cannot tell you how happy I am. And you know, then in the last few minutes of the session, she has her math class. So at that time, she goes, and her sister Simar, who is younger, she takes over. So, you know, they don't want to stop it. And
my God.
They are listening. And, you know, I am not at home. My husband is there at home. It is very hard. So I'm wearing the 3 masks, the N95 and the shield and my whole gloves. And from that, I call her, Meher, get up.
Amazing. Meher, one thing I can say, you've got an amazing mom. You know, if a mom in middle of her, you know, the kind of career she's doing, my daughter is a doctor, so I can understand the lifestyle. And she has got that initiative to remember and tell you that it's a class time. You're very lucky. You're very lucky, Meher.
But I think she will do the spiritual counseling with you, the holistic.
Wonderful, wonderful.
I can see from her face.
Wonderful.
I can see from her face.
No, definitely. That will give you an opportunity to talk in depth to Meher. And I was very thrilled to listen from you today. It really made my day worth.
I think this really made my day, like sitting here listening to that whole story. And I think when I first heard it in class, I was this morning, I don't think I really understood it that well. And just listening to it.
Can you speak up? Can you speak up? I can't hear.
I think like this morning when I was listening to the story in class, I don't think I understood it that well. But coming here and listening to it today, really, I think this was the highlight of my day today, and I really enjoyed it, and it was a very inspiring story.
Oh, thank you. Thank you very much, Meher. We are trying in multiple ways, you know, as many ways that we can share this story with the children. And you won't believe, I cry when I tell these stories. All my teachers know I'm passionate, because this is a story of our lives, so simply told in the form of a bird's life. We can't find any more book. I mean, I can't find of any other book that's such a simple message and such a great message. So you guys are lucky. That's all I can say. You know, if I could have got this book when I was young, I would have been thrilled. but you guys are lucky.
Richard Bach wrote it well, but you have put life into it.
Yeah.
Animating and
We can't hear you. You have to come closer.
Yeah. I was saying that Richard Bach has written this book, but the way you are, you have narrated it, there is so much power in your voice. I have never heard this kind of narration before.
Oh,
I hope that
you.
they have recorded this session. So I hope that they have recorded this storytelling. I mean, there is hats off to you.
Oh, thank you.
We won't take much of your time, but we will.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you both so much. Thanks a lot.
Madam, Havisha Master wants to talk to you.
Yeah, sure.
Thank you, ma'am, for the wonderful story. Actually, I heard it from my nephew who just spoke a few minutes ago. And I didn't get the full clear when he told me the story, but then now I got the full picture of what this whole story is about. I was able to connect myself like 2 years back, how my career changed, the manifesting, like everything was a miracle and magic for me. But my one question is, like, you're saying there's a divine plan and there's a manifesting with the thoughts. How are these two interconnected? Because none of us know what's our divine plan is.
Yeah.
You get a lot of negative thoughts, positive thoughts. Like, how do you know which one is manifesting?
Anything can manifest. Your negative can also manifest. Your positive can also manifest. See, manifesting is where you put your energy, Havisha. Anything will manifest. Wherever you put your energy into, consistently, that will manifest. Now, whether it's positive or negative, that depends on where you're putting this energy into. Now, your question has two different parts. You're mixing both up. So ask me one question at a time, then you'll get more clarity.
So one is divine plan, right? We all come with our own divine plan, which we planned and we wanted to learn that.
Yeah.
So that is one thing I have learned from getting counseling from you and even other sessions I heard from the platform.
Yeah. So you understand that, don't you?
Yeah, I do understand.
Okay.
But then, like, I keep hearing that thoughts get manifested, thoughts have energy.
Yeah.
But we all came with a divine plan, right?
Yeah.
Is our thought also comes with a divine plan, or do we just do the thoughts, like, because sometimes our thoughts are influenced by others.
Yes.
And sometimes it's like our own things that we do with our own experience.
Yes. So divine plan doesn't mean that it's going to tell you what you're going to eat every day, whether you're going to cook porridge today or you're going to make rice or roti. That's not your divine plan. Divine plans are some life goals. So it's a long-term thing. Your divine plan is. Your thoughts are for every day, isn't it? So you're asking two different. You're asking intermediate. When you're talking about long-term goals, then you have to think about your thoughts. What do you have for long-term goals? Every day we think so many things that all need not be part of your divine plan. So there are two things. I mean, if you have read Edgar Case's book, then you will understand. One is blueprint, which is called our destiny. Other ones are in between, which is called free will. Free will, you can do anything you want. Your divine plan will not tell you, which bus you are going to take to reach next town. That's not part of your divine plan. Your divine plan is the main things in life for which you have come. And what are those key things? Experiences. For which experiences did you come here for? That is what is divine plan. Thoughts is every minute you have your thoughts. That's all intermediate fill up, right? So two different things.
Okay, and second question looks like my sister forgot to ask you. So, which is like, which ones get more manifest, like negative thoughts or positive thoughts? Because every day, like every second, we keep on releasing thoughts, right? And
both are equal, Havisha.
Both are equal.
It doesn't mean positive has one. Positive, negative, you have labeled it. What seems positive to you could be negative to somebody else. What is negative to you could be positive to someone else. So positive, negative, you are labeling it. But thoughts are thoughts. It needs the same energy, same focus to manifest. There's no difference between the two.
And my third question, I think in the last session I attended, in the rose session, you said like, when you get a thought, just hug them, say goodbye, but they keep coming up. How do I hug them?
Yeah, you are not hugging them properly. You're becoming restless. Love. Do you have children, Havisha?
No, I'm thinking of having children.
Right. You have a loving husband?
Yes.
Yeah. How do you hug your husband? Remember that. If you had children, I would have said, how will you embrace your child? Even they do wrong, You don't get angry on them, do you?
No, not on my nephew.
Yeah.
Even if I do, it doesn't last. For long.
That's why children are the best examples, you know. How do we take children close by? When you embrace your child, there is no other thought. Forgiving is so easy. So each thought, when it comes in meditation, is like a small child. If you tell him go away, he'll come back again. That's how children are. So what you do, you embrace them with love and say, look, I'm doing meditation at the moment. We'll come to you one day. Can you please go? With love. You have to be able to forgive them completely. But we don't. We're just doing a lip talk. But we are not doing it with heart. Till you do it with heart, it won't go. When you start doing with heart, it won't come back. It takes a bit of practice, Havisha.
Okay, I'm going to try it.
Yes.
Maybe I'm not treating them as the kids. Maybe I was just treating a thought and saying goodbye, and so that they don't come back.
Yeah, see, two things are there. One is called lip service. Lip service won't work. This is a spiritual world. This is energy world. You say something from your lip, but you feel something different. Feeling will be counted. First feeling comes. If feeling is not there, then it won't work, Amma. Okay. Try. Okay. Gangadhar sir, I think I'm going to close this session. It's been now close to 3 hours. Is that all right? Yeah. Thank you. Amazing questions. And thank you once again for giving this opportunity. We are closing this session on both the Zooms. Thank you. Thanks. Thank you, Purna. Thank you so much for being with us for so long.
No, thank you.
Okay.
Some children are still.
Oh, they are there? They're still there?
Yeah,
oh my God.
Just kept the session open.
Oh, that is so nice. They must be so interested to stay this long, Purna.
Yes,
children, thank you so much. So I should thank you all along with the Purna sir for being so long with us. And enjoy your Crystal Children classes, masters, because this has been specially designed for you. All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Bye.